here we are. It's time. I don't know how long this will be, but damn it, I'm so excited for this. Avengers Assemble. Hey guys, my name is Trollisher and I'm back here on this channel in English after a week of vlogs that we had in Portuguese, and I'm here doing the Avengers Endgame review. Now, how good is this movie? We're gonna go through it, but I just wanna say I will give spoilers in this video. I think this is the first time I'm doing a review with spoilers, so if you don't want spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie yet, please just leave a like and click away and come back when you have seen it, because I'm gonna go through all the parts I loved, and there are a lot. Just to let you know, I went to see this movie on the 25th of April and I watched it again on the 26th of April. I went with my sister right on the day after watching it for the first time, because I just had to watch it a second time. So I know that that's not a lot for a lot of people, especially in America, that go and watch 30 times. But I went and watched it twice, which is something that I have never done, so that does mean this is great. Okay, so I have my notes right here and I'm gonna start with a quick recap of the storyline. So we start with a scene that we knew we're gonna get with Hawkeye's family disappearing. We knew he was gonna become this bad version of himself. We had a guess that it was gonna happen because of his family disappearing. Every single member is gone, so that's why he's back. Then we go right into Tony and Nebula in space, and they are saved in the first 15 minutes of the movie by Captain Marvel herself. She brings them to Earth, and we have the first interaction between Tony and Captain America since the Civil War, which to me is crazy. 3 years without an interaction and they are now back together. We also get a great scene of Tony just freaking out, and we can see how good of an actor Robert Downey Jr. really is. And just to take it out of the way right now, every single actor in this movie did an amazing job, and so I'm not gonna talk about the actors because they were all amazing. I'm just gonna look into the story. Then comes the plan, with Ant-Man coming out of the quantum realm 5 years after the snap, which to him was just 5 hours, and it just came out because a goddamn mouse, a rat, stepped on the thing that initiated the coming back sequence. So we have a lot to thank to that rat for saving Ant-Man from the quantum realm. He had this idea to use it to time travel. They go to Tony. Tony is a guy who understands how to do this. We can see Tony is conflicted because yes, he wants to save all the people he lost 5 years ago, but he also has a family. He has his wife, or I don't know if they're married or not, and he has a daughter that he does not want to lose, but he does it anyway. He figures out how to time travel, and he goes to meet with the Avengers so they can time travel and save everyone, with one condition: they need to come back to the 5 years later and stay in that timeline where his daughter is alive. So I'm gonna get into the time travel in a second, in another part. I'm just doing a recap. After they time travel and they get the stones, Hulk is the one to snap his fingers and bring everyone back. And then we get the final battle, because 2014 Thanos is here, thanks to 2014 Nebula that brought him to the present, and he's here, and we get an epic final battle that has a scene that I just want to get out of the way and say, pretty cool scene of all the ladies together fighting their way through all the bad guys, and that was pretty cool. I'm not gonna mention it in another part of this video, but I just want to get out of the way. I like that scene. Okay, so right now that's the recap. Let's get into some specifics of this movie. So something I kind of enjoyed, but I'm kind of conflicted on: 3 out of the 6 original Avengers are dead. Tony, as expected, was the one to snap his fingers his second time after Hulk did it, and because he's human, he ended up dying from that, but he saved the day, and he showed how much this character has evolved over these 10-11 years of the MCU. So it was really sad to see him going. My sister cried her eyes out. The first time I went, there were maybe there was a little thing that came out right here, but I'm a man, so it didn't happen. Natasha also died in one of the most sad scenes in this movie to me. My sister also cried during this scene. The scene where Natasha and Hawkeye fight to see who is going to sacrifice their lives. Clint really wants to do it because he lost his family, but it ends up being Natasha the one that dies. I also love how they love each other so much that they were willing to fight. They fought each other there, punches and arrows and everything, in order to save the other, which really means a lot. It shows how much they love each other, that they're willing to punch each other to let the other one live. And then obviously with Cap's ending, he goes back in time. He doesn't come back in the 5 seconds he's supposed to. They're all freaking out. I'm freaking out the first time I saw it, because I'm like, did he die in the past? Did something happen? But it ends up being that he just stayed in the past. Him staying back in 1970 with Peggy and marrying her just meant he jumped into another universe, like a parallel universe, a parallel timeline where he stayed there. It doesn't mean that this one where he fought in Civil War and all these other movies and all these battles, doesn't mean he wasn't here. And then when he's old, he makes the jump from his universe to this one to give the shield to Sam, to make him the new Captain America, which I think will be pretty cool to see in the future. I just want to talk about 2 small negatives that I found to me, and I'm just gonna get them out of the way. So one of them was Stan Lee's cameo. I wrote this. Stan Lee cameo wasn't impactful, probably because it might have been filmed before his death. If this was a scene created after he had died with special effects and everything, they would have probably made it a lot more special. But he appears in 1970 as a driver on the street, and he says, "Make love not peace, make love not war," something like that. I'm not sure. I don't remember the line, but it was something really. But I still enjoyed it. It was just not impactful as it could have been because he just passed away. And the other small negative was Captain Marvel's absence. I know people liked it and they enjoyed that she wasn't the hero of this movie. They actually explain how right now, 5 years after the snap, she is dealing with a lot of other problems in Other Earth, and that's why she doesn't show up. So I get it, but still I would have enjoyed to see just a little bit more of her. Also, the fact that she was gone made it that in the final battle, when they are like about to lose, and then we see the ship is shooting at something that we can see, I knew right away it was her coming back. So you kind of gave it away, the fact that she had been gone for so long. She was coming back now. But that's just a small little thing that I didn't enjoy. That's just me. Okay, let's speed this up and go through some of the things I loved. One of them was the Hail Hydra scene, back when they time traveled to 2012, and we get a scene similar to the Captain America Winter Soldier film where they're in the elevator, the famous elevator scene, and he says Hail Hydra, just like it happened in the comics recently. That was such a good scene. The fact that they were undercover, but at the time in 2012 they didn't know that, so now they go back and they know it, and they use that to get one of the stones. Such a great scene, loved it. Also, when they go back to 2013, that's Rocket, Raccoon and Thor, they go to Asgard and Thor gets his hammer back. I wonder what the Thor from that time ends up doing, because his hammer is gone. But Thor gets his hammer. Also, he was fat, he was kind of out of shape, and is still worthy. So it's a good moment to show that Thor is not broken down and he can still come back and be this great hero. That's the turning point for Thor in this movie, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that. I also like the way Thanos discovered the Avengers plan in 2014. Obviously Nebula made a mistake going back to a time where she knew she was bad and going after the stones with Gamora and Thanos. That ended up being her mistake, but obviously they needed to set up a way to get Thanos back. They used Thanos from 2014, which I enjoyed, and I liked seeing him see himself decapitated. That was pretty cool too. The old going back to 1970 idea when in 2012 Tony Stark makes a mistake and loses one of the stones, the Tesseract, and he says we gotta go back to 1970 because there are Pym particles there, because Hank Pym is obviously working on his Ant-Man things back then. In New Jersey is there, and also the Tesseract is there, and he ends up meeting his dad, which was pretty cool to see. We obviously see Captain America being a bit of a creep and going to Peggy Carter's office and spying on her. That too was cool to see. I didn't like the fact that Thor is now in Guardians. Guardians are like the fun group of the MCU, and Thor has really turned the page, being this dark character in his original movies, and then in his third movie really becoming this funny guy, and now he is a funny guy, and that really works with his OP character, and hopefully we'll see him in Guardians 3. Hulk's conversation with the Ancient One in 2012. Now back in 2012 we didn't know about the Ancient One, we didn't know about Doctor Strange or any of that because that hadn't happened yet, and it was cool to see that they were there. Seeing that the Ancient One is wrong when he tells him that Doctor Strange in the future gives the Time Stone away to Thanos, so that's the only way to do it. That whole interaction was pretty cool. And last but not least, the funny moments in this movie. The MCU really knows how to mix this really intense, dark moments, sad moments with funny stuff. And some of the funny things we got was America's ass, with Captain America saying it himself, and with Ant-Man saying that, I think that's America's ass, Captain. That was pretty funny to see. Also Thor and his friends, the whole sequence where they go and get Thor from New Asgard, and he's just a funny guy, and obviously, what's his name? The stone guy, he's so funny. And Noob Master 69, that whole thing was hilarious and I loved it. And obviously Ant-Man, one of the funniest characters in this universe. I remember one particular scene where they say to him, so you got a way to make a time machine? And he says, no, it's not like a time machine. Yeah, it is a time machine. I didn't do it in a funny way now, but Paul Rudd does an amazing job with Ant-Man, and is one of the funniest characters. Ant-Man is one of the funniest characters in this universe. I just want to end this review by talking about my biggest geek moments. That was Captain America vs. Captain America when he fights himself in 2012. Amazing, amazing scene. Also, when Captain America holds Thor's hammer, that was insane and everyone in the theater went crazy. That was so cool to see, such a long time coming. And last but not least, when he holds the hammer, when they're all together there, and he says, Avengers Assemble. Such a good scene, probably my favorite scene from the whole MCU. I'm just gonna end it by saying my friend Vitor also saw this movie with me. He loved the Captain America holding Thor's hammer. When I asked him to give me some stuff for this review, all he could say was that. You love that moment, you love that moment, you love that moment. And I'm gonna end with my score, and I'm gonna score this movie a 22 out of 10. That's insane. I do like 10 out of 10 sometime, or 9 out of 10. I'm gonna do 22 out of 10 because this is right now my favorite movie of all time. The favorite movie I've ever seen, not just MCU, just my favorite movie ever. It's now better than Captain America Civil War and Captain America 2, which were up there as my two favorite movies. This is now it, Endgame, and because obviously this is the 22nd movie of the MCU, so I'm gonna give it a 22 out of 10. Amazing movie, go and see it if you haven't already. Also, if you're right now watching this and you haven't seen it, I just spoiled the whole movie for you. But I warned you at the beginning. There we go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. I hope you come back in the future for other videos. Subscribe to see more about me and to help me a little bit here. And comment down below what's your score for this movie, what do you expect of the upcoming MCU movies. I think this was an end of an era, but there's another era coming in the MCU and it's gonna be a good one. For now, my name's Trollisher and I'll see you next week. Bye guys!